the bottom of the ocean.
What on earth? Like,
Especially
and
an unregulated, unsafe submersible.
it's some trial thing that I'm working with a joystick that I work my Nintendo with. Here, come on in, guys. We'll sit
It was
in
like
this
a
tube.
GameCube controller. It's not even
Yes!
a PS5, an Xbox One. It was like a GameCube.
505-246-0610. One of the biggest controversies of our time. We don't have to go back. Kids, you remember this one when the Astros and the cheating scandal. The commissioner of baseball now says, yeah, maybe I didn't handle that well. And if I did it again, I would do this differently. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. Is La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch. And she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the
show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bach.
What's up, Draft Day? Victor Wembanyama Day. It's Wemby Day today. Everybody's looking for a nickname for him. I think he's got one. I mean, it's going to go by Wemby, and then he's going to, like, something's going to happen somehow organically, don't you think? Kind of like the Unicorn did for Porzingis.
Yeah.
Does he
We
feel
definitely got to move on from Wimby.
Does he feel it? Why?
That's like a nickname he'd complain about all the time.
Like J. Will and K. Dub and yeah. All right. Well. All right. Well, it's more of a hockey. nickname. Yeah, it's more like a hockey nickname, right? Wemby. It kind of is.
Kind of has that feel.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go more into the draft. If you want to get in, the 377 Brewery hotline is open for you, 505-246-0610. That is also the Sports Animal text line. Get in on the Sports Animal today at 505-246-0610. Emails are coming in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com and JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. All right. I would say this was of the last decade, Astros cheating scandal, the biggest one in sports. It's bigger than Deflategate. It's bigger than, it was real because they went on and won a World Series.
Biggest
right?
team scandal.
Yeah, right? It just in American sports anyway. Rob Manfred is the commissioner of Major League Baseball. And Rob Manfred, as every commissioner does, gets beat up. And, they're all idiots. They're all idiots. Like, even the only one that wasn't getting beat up, and that's over now, is Adam Silver. Right, there was a love affair with Adam Silver that he's the greatest commissioner ever, but now he kind of gets beat up. Name me a commissioner that doesn't just get abused by the fans.
That's what they're paid for.
They're there to take it so the owners don't. And that's why they get paid 20s and 30s of millions of dollars. Okay, my apologies, DC. I did not. I did not, Marty. My bad. I didn't get the note that Marty was online, so my call. My bad. I just never got that. Manfred said he's got regrets on how he handled the Astros sign stealing deal. He was doing a recent interview, and he said maybe giving immunity to the players was not, quote, my best decision ever, end quote. If you recall, the players who were involved, they went to them and said, all right, we're giving you immunity. We're not punishing you. There's no discipline, but tell us what happened. And so none of them got any discipline after the league investigation confirmed that the Astros had cheated by using that camera. And it was like, camera-based sign stealing system during the regular season, the playoffs, when they went on to win the World Series in 2017, and then they did it part of 2018. And their manager, A.J. Hinch, their general manager, Jeff Luhnow, were suspended for a season. They lost draft picks. They were fined $5 million. But the players' immunity drew all of the criticism, and Manfred said, there are some decisions that I would like to have back. I'm not sure, he says, quote, I'm not sure that I would have approached it giving players immunity. Once we gave players immunity, it puts you in a box as to what exactly you were doing in terms of punishment. I might have gone about the investigative process without the grant of immunity, see where it takes us, starting with, I'm not going to punish anybody, maybe not my best decision ever. What do you think of that?
It sounds like there's some self-reflection for Rob Manfred. Even being the punching bag for the owners, this dude needs PR help, because whether it's the Astros scandal, calling the championship trophy just a piece of metal, the way he's handled the Oakland A's situation, just absolutely destroying the city and its fans. Like, we get you work for the owners and you're their mouthpiece and you're going to do what they want you to do, but you could still present your messaging a lot better than you do, because all he does is come out and say things that upset baseball fan. And even as a commissioner working for the owners, you don't want to just sit there and every time you open your mouth, baseball fans just roll their eyes and go, this guy's talking again, because all he does is step in it time and time again.
So you don't feel any better that he admitted his mistake? Obviously you can't go back and change it. I guess there's a part of me that appreciates a guy who can say, you know what? Maybe I didn't do that the right way. Now, it doesn't erase it. It doesn't make it better. And there's none of you who are angry, Dodger fan, Red Sox fan. I don't know what Red Sox fans are angry about. but Dodger fan in particular, right? That's going to get over this. There's none of you that makes you feel better. This is still going on. I mean,
Well, it's
this
just
happened.
wild. We're seeing how in baseball, what we saw happen. The fallout from that wasn't just the sign stealing electronic video, but then they started looking at pictures and the sticky stuff and the spider tack, and we're seeing all these guys getting suspended.
Yeah.
10 games constantly if they're checked and are like, oh, fingers are too sticky, you're out of here. And yet one of the biggest scandals, they're like, you know what, this is okay. Just tell us when we won't be mad at you. Like, those guys should have missed games. Like, if you're cheating and you're caught,
And I think that's what
you
he's
should have
saying.
missed some games. But to immediately just be so enamored with just tell us so we can figure it out. Everyone saw it was a miss from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying now, and you can't go back. And look, this is still going on. I mean, this was just a month ago. Carlos Correa, who was in the middle of all that, is now with the Minnesota Twins, and they were playing the White Sox, and Kenyon Middleton called him a cheater just last month, right? He struck him out and called him a cheater, and he said, I'm not going to forget it. I'm never going to forget it. I told you I was at the Astros White Sox game earlier this season. And Joe Kelly was a Dodger at the time on that World Series team. And I remember Joe Kelly with pouty face and the whole thing when he came in and got they had the little altercation when he struck out an Astro. He threw at Altuve and Bregman. There was a lot of chirping from the Astros dugout when Joe was with the Dodgers the next season, and he gave him a little pouty face. Well, I mean, the Astro fans still haven't forgotten. Joe Kelly came in. I told you the story, man. I was sitting there, and the White Sox made a pitching change, and immediately the whole place started booing, like boo, you bleep. And I'm like, what the hell don't I understand? Like, and I'm looking around, and get it? And when the PA guy says, now pitching for the Chicago White Sox, number 17, Joe Kelly. Oh, it all made sense. And the place erupted. They never forgot. And so Astro fan felt like they were the ones who were on the bad side of this. JJ, you're right. It doesn't make it better. And I don't believe he handled it right. Yes, should guys who cheated, and to your point, guys who now are with the sticky stuff, which is cheating with it, all the stuff we're watching, they're getting suspended, and these guys didn't. I guess there's a part of me that can appreciate a man who comes out and says, yeah, I made a mistake. I would have done it differently. It doesn't make it better.
I can understand that with Rob Manfred, and I think he's starting to at least a little bit feel the weight of, dude, the stuff you say matters in the baseball community, matters to the baseball fans. You can't just be so cavalier about your attitude against Oakland and trashing all those fans and taking shots at them because they're trying to keep their team, and their owner is absolutely destroying that franchise just so he can get a new ballpark in Las Vegas. And when you say the stuff that's negative and against the Oakland A's fans, you should be wearing that because that is ridiculous.
Yeah. All right. One other baseball note. Did you see the play at the plate in the Rangers game 2 nights ago? Bruce Bochy, okay, years ago was it Buster Posey who got rolled at home plate, and Major League Baseball changed the rules that catchers cannot block home plate if they don't have the ball, right? And there was a play at home plate yesterday or 2 days ago with the Rangers. Bruce Bochy is now the Rangers manager. And I don't remember the catcher, the pitcher, but the catcher was on the plate. There was absolute access to home plate, caught the ball, and tagged the runner out. Runner had access to get his foot to the plate, but he was tagged out before. They replayed this and called the runner safe because they claim the catcher violated the rule. Bruce Bochy, who's been in baseball for, 173 years. I mean, he's a great manager with the Padres, with the Giants. I mean, he's been managing for 20-something years. Played before that. Said it was the worst call I've ever seen. And you go, yeah, whatever, that's hyperbole. Might be the worst call I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad. It was a very bad call. The catcher's foot was pretty much in the middle of home plate. still allowing the player to slide in and touch home plate, and they deemed it blocking the plate. It was one of those ones that, if you look at that, like, what is the letter of the law? Can a catcher not be touching the plate at all? And then it's considered blocking the plate because there was not a dangerous action that occurred with the player sliding head first. All right, you might jam a finger. Okay, like, there wasn't anything that when you watch that play real time that it should be called catcher blocking the plate, but it's just one of those situations where, yeah, I'm going off on it after the fact if I'm Bruce Bochy, because that made zero sense.
It was horrible. What made it worse is they went back and changed it via replay. To me, that's what made it worse. Like, if you want to say bang, bang in the moment, he blocked the plate, okay. But you went back and looked at it, and there's no way to look at that and interpret it. I mean, I don't think there is, but obviously there is, that he blocked the plate. And by the way, when you have the ball, then you're allowed to block the plate, right? Once you have the ball, you're allowed to be in front of the plate.
I don't even know if you can be in front of the plate at that point.
Bottom line is, the man had access to the plate. There was no blocking. It was, I don't know. I mean, when I hear worst call ever, I kind of cringe. But I'm like, I'm watching it. I'm like, you know what, JJ? That might have been the worst
Pretty
call
bad
ever.
call.
It was really, 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 really bad. All right, you guys are coming in on the text line here at The Sports Animal. Want to hear from you at 505-246-0610. The 377 Brewery hotline is 505-246-0610. JJ, when we come back, I don't know what the Mountain West is going to do in regards to expansion, but there is a team that's ready to take the call, or at least getting ready to take the call. There is a school that has said, yep, no, we better be ready for this call because it might be coming. I'll tell you who that is, and then should the Mountain West make the call? That's coming up next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by KFC.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
and act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke.
People played with their stud. Jonathan Daza's tag was ruled too early. They almost all leave early on the tag. When have you ever seen the refs make that call? I've seen that call made. Guy leaves too early on tag. I've seen that one call. I don't know that I think that was the worst call ever. The one with the Rangers was horrible, JJ. I mean, just brutal. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. All right, JJ, what should the Mountain West do if and apparently when San Diego State leaves the conference? We've been having this conversation for quite some time now, right? Is there somebody that is worth adding as a full-time member, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And I saw the intrigue in your eyes when I said this school says they are ready or will be ready to take the call. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. I'm very intrigued. I stuck around through the whole commercial to hear it.
All right. Well, there is a story in the local paper in this team's market that says they will be ready and willing, but will the invite come? It's a successful Division I program that is waiting for the Mountain West or the American to call. And it's North Dakota State, JJ. And they've been talking about, do they want to go to FBS, right? First of all, when you hear North Dakota State, do you just go, are you intrigued by their football
How's
prowess?
the travel to get there?
Well, it's Fargo. I mean, it's a flight. It's like first of all, like anything else, man. Football, you get on a charter and you fly somewhere, right? How's it travel?
Not everyone gets a charter. So.
Well, that's fair, but I said football. So, football charters, like how's it to get to Pullman?
Yeah.
In the Pac-12. How's it? You've been. How's it to get to Laramie? I'm gonna guess, and I've never been to Fargo.
Interesting.
I've been to Laramie. I'm gonna guess the airport in Fargo is easier to access than it is to Laramie. Okay. So, I mean, as far as that, you get on a plane, you go somewhere. So, I was reading through the story, and they're expecting a call and they said they want to be ready. Matt Larson is the athletic director at North Dakota State. And he was asked this question: has anybody from the Mountain West or any other conference been in touch with you? His answer is, I can't speak for everybody else at North Dakota State because I just don't know. But to my knowledge, no. That includes our president, David Cook. He hasn't told me, and I think if it would have been called, he would tell me. That was his quote. So they're talking about this time around and how will San Diego State's move affect North Dakota State. And so this is the quote from the athletic director at North Dakota State, JJ. The Mountain West has probably been one of the most stable conferences in college athletics for a long time. So I don't know if you can speculate what they're going to do. The last time there was major movement, they thought about adding, and they eventually decided we're going to stand pat. I think they like their geographic makeup, how they're composed. I think they liked where they were. The presidents liked where they were, and they decided not to do anything. I mean, I could very well see that same thing same approach this time around, end quote. So let me throw them in the mix because they've not been in our conversation. Should they be?
I'm listening.
Okay, what are you listening to?
They've been successful in basketball. Football program, if they make that transition, they'll be good at the Mountain West level. And while you can hold out hope in these theories that, the Mountain West could be the conference that scoops everything up, you're probably going to be the conference that's going to have to add to be stable. And I know yesterday we were talking that we feel really confident in the conference, but there's also the what if it's more than just San Diego State.
Right.
What if it's the Pac-12 that goes on the offensive as opposed to the Pac-12 collapsing? Then you have to figure out what you do if you're those other schools. Like, what are you going to do? Whether it's North Dakota State, do you have to then look at, hey, there's a piece of us that has to realize that we can't be, 12 football playing schools. Then that number might drop, but you could have more basketball playing schools. Like, that's the scenario that could be more likely for the Mountain West as opposed to them somehow coming out on top, adding a bunch of schools.
So North Dakota State isn't certain they want to go to FBS. And that's where I guess there's conversation. So this AD, Larson, he was asked about, do you want to go to FBS? And he's been non-committal. He believes that they're well-positioned, but he wouldn't commit. He said it depends on which league calls. So he said a call from Conference USA is different than a call from the Mountain West. A football-only invite is different than an all-sports invite. And I got to believe if the Mountain West was going there, it would be an all-sports invite. He said, and this is the answer, he said, what I tell President Cook is the same thing I told President in the past. We have to be ready to answer because we can't say give us 6 months to figure it out. The answer might be no, but we have to be ready to have an answer if the call comes. Evidently, their budget is $54 million. They're it's a competitive budget that they could play at this level. Their fans, I think, somehow favor the American because of the Texas leagues. Like their football coach is a guy named Matt Entz. He's been vocal. He wants to go to FBS. He told The Athletic back in January that he'd prefer the American. Quote, just in terms of football, I think it's the best fit in the American. From a geographical standpoint, there are 4 in Texas plus Tulsa. Those are in the central time zone, and others in the east, so it would fit for our fans and TV. From a travel standpoint, flying to Dallas is just as fast as Youngstown or Macomb, Illinois, what they're doing now, end quote. But there's others that are at the school that like the Mountain West because it's land-grant schools like Colorado State and that look like them, right? So I don't know, man. It's just another one to throw in the mix, but it's out there. There was a story that was out there yesterday on North Dakota State. They don't bring a big TV market. They bring look, that football program right now. JJ, that football program right now.
They're what, top 4?
4? Yeah.
In the Mountain West?
Yeah. They
they've
compete.
been fantastic. Like Carson Wentz and Trey Lance, just because they haven't been great in the NFL doesn't mean they're scrubs. Like they're winning football games at a high level at North Dakota State. And that's interesting. And these are the ones that you have this conversation, and I know people this morning probably sitting there in their car just eyes glazing over, like, North Dakota State, what are we talking about?
Why do we do that?
Like,
yeah.
And this is the future, man. There's another dramatic shift coming, and so how are you going to respond?
Yeah, and I don't think this is the exact parallel, but I think a few years ago when you said UTSA is going into then Conference USA, now the American, you're like, yeah, whatever. What? And that's such a blowing up market.
Is
right?
that the miss for the Mountain West, not getting into Texas more?
Yeah, I think UTSA specifically, and maybe North Texas, but UTSA in the sixth largest city in America, from what and the growth potential there and what they become. Look, they won Conference USA. They played as a conference champion against a Sun Belt champion in a bowl. They've got a great coach in Jeff Traylor. They can recruit. They evidently is a wonderful school. Like that one is the one that I kind of feel like they missed on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
now,
you?
Yes, because if you're looking at it for the Mountain West, you could end up being in Utah a lot more than you want, because you're looking at WAC 2.0. Because all the WAC schools could.
But that's kind of what they were.
Schools.
But that's what
again,
they were.
Yeah, again,
like that's
what you were is what you'll be again.
The WAC when the WAC brought in Nevada, Utah State, Boise State. Was Fresno State an original? They were in the WAC, weren't they? They didn't come over initially in the Mountain West, did they? I don't think they did, but it was Nevada and Hawaii, and Boise State and Utah State. I want to say Fresno State too, but yeah, that's what you were before. All right, Bill Hancock stepping down as the big dog at the college football playoff. What does that mean? Bill's been on our show a number of times. He will be again. But what that means going forward for a college football playoff, who might step in, because that's a big position. And the only guy who's ever held it was Bill. What that means for him stepping down next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report brought to you by Quality by DiLorenzo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers, they maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important.
Says you via the Sports Animal text line at 505-246-0610. Yes on North Dakota State if the Mountain West stays intact on the surface. But if the Pac-12 divests, a Mountain and Pacific Conference seems more likely. That could happen too. It could. We're going to watch. Look, there's a lot of things that are out there that may or may not happen, JJ. But just wanted to throw another potential and another conversation in there because it's being had. So
yeah, and that's the school that we haven't discussed. It's a school that makes sense from an athletic standpoint, what they offer, what you're looking for at Mountain West, I do think the conference needs to think just bigger picture too, and it can't just be all about football. Like, you understand that's the core, but to get to a certain number will you will be successful, we might have a couple basketball-only schools. Like, that's not a terrible direction, especially when you look at some of the biggest pieces at these universities are still the basketball programs. And I understand that the money is not the same, but you still want to be able to have quality games there, access to the NCAA tournament. And so I think the Mountain West, while solid, it comes down to what the Pac-12 does. If they go on the offensive, then that changes the entire landscape.
Well, and they've got to be able to go on the offensive, right? I mean, they've got to be able to maintain what they promise. If they go on the offensive and for lack of a better word, raid the Mountain West, is the money going to be there that they're talking about? And it's going to, it's going to play out over the next few months. We'll see. Back in 2012 is when the college football playoff was formed. And in that time to now, there has been one executive director of the college football playoff. That's been Bill Hancock. And Bill's been on our show. And, JJ, we'll get Bill on again before he's done. And certainly sometime I'd like to do it before football season. I'll probably see him here next month. You may see him too. Have you met Bill? Did I introduce you to Bill at one of these events?
I do not. I've never met him personally.
Okay. One of the most unassuming, kind, low-key, powerful men you've ever met. If I pointed him out to you and said, that's the guy who is in charge of the college football playoff, who was the first full-time director of the NCAA men's Final Four, the first administrator of the Bowl Championship Series, the BCS. You'd say that dude right there? Like that guy? With his wife? Because he's almost always with his wife. Yeah, that guy. He's, I believe, 72. He announced that he's going to step down. And what does this mean? Well, it's interesting, the timing, right? Because he's stepping down at a time where there's going to be a transition in the college football playoff. He's stepping down after this year when the playoff expands from 4 to 12. He's stepping down a year, announcing he's stepping down a year early so he can help with the transition. Like JJ, if there was a guy that you believed did college sports the right way, and I know so many people are tainted and think that nobody does it the right way and everybody's out scheming and everybody, this is the dude. Like, this is the guy that you would say, yeah, no, he's up and up. I trust this guy. I don't know if he's going to have a selection or a say in the selection. I would assume he will in his successor. And I don't know who comes in next. I've heard names like Jack Swarbrick, the recently retired Notre Dame athletic director. I've heard Bob Bowlesby, the former Big 12 commissioner. Nick Carparelli's name has come up, the executive director of bowl season. I don't know who takes it over, but he has done an insanely good job. And I'm going to go back to the conversation we had a few minutes ago about commissioners. He's not necessarily a commissioner, but he oversees something that people are so passionate about. And when there's passion, there's emotion on both sides, right? Passion doesn't just mean positive. Yeah. Passion, you're passionate when it's on the other side. And so the passion for college football, and I heard somebody arguing, well, we know NFL's number one, but what's number two? There's not even an argument. College football's number two in our country in regards to the popularity and passion for sports fans. And he has guided this ship through the BCS era, through this 4-team playoff that he didn't design it, right? He's the steward of it. There's a committee, and basically this was designed by the 10 conference commissioners and the athletic director at Notre Dame. But he has guided this to, maybe lucky sometimes, where almost every time we get it right. We get the right 4 teams. We get great competition. We get a national champion. And the evolution of the sport going from polls to BCS 4-team CFP now to 12. He has been so key in. And I think college athletics will miss a steady hand in what Bill does. I know Bill personally. I can't think higher of somebody in college athletics than I do of Bill. He does it with integrity, the right way, with humility, but yet is so incredibly influential and strong. This is a big hire, don't you think, going forward, whether it's a Swarbrick, Bowlesby, whoever it is, because the college football playoff is kind of what defines the game now.
Yeah, and I believe that along the process, they have gotten it right. And you move on from BCS selection to the 4-team college football playoff, ultimately a 12-team college football playoff, because college football, even at that level where you see such a big discrepancy in even the teams that we think are really good, and then you can have Georgia go out there and roll teams that you think are really good, but that's going to happen in sports. Sometimes there's just those special teams, but I do think the 12-team college football playoff is really going to be a positive for college football moving forward. And I know people were hyper-focused on 4 and enjoyed that format, but I think it's going to help carve out an area for college football that does get them a bigger boost in a time where bowl season's fun. We love bowl season, but it's really going to give them, I think, a huge boost right there in a football crazed, football hungry time of the year in December. Yep. You're getting late in the NFL season, and you're getting college football playoff games, first round games on campus sites. Then you're moving to the bowl. I think it's going to ignite a new passion and hopefully open the door to those teams that get in on the back end. There's still going to be a lot of power conference teams in there, but maybe slowly but surely able to close that talent gap to where it's just, the first round. There's going to be some rough years. There's going to be some rough games. Like you're just going to have to understand it, because we saw what happened to TCU and we thought they were really good. But you hope as it evolves.
Why do you think it's guaranteed there's going to be, like, you mean blowout games? Like we're going to see blowout.
There's going to be a couple. Like when
I think statistics show you that.
Yeah, it's nature of the beast. If TCU gets in there and gets blown out, and we thought, what a great story they are. What's going to happen to the American champion that has an awesome year and then gets embarrassed. But to me, that doesn't mean the system's broken. I think it's a process that we just see these teams keep climbing.
Well, you're going to see, and because I do believe in the system, and it should be, the top-ranked Group of 5 champion is going to get a spot in the playoff, and they're going to be seeded somewhere between 10 and 12 on a regular basis, right? And that means they're going to get 5, 6, or 7. That means they're going to get Michigan, USC, Wisconsin, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, something like that. And look, there's going to be years that they can play with them, and then there's going to be years where they just can't. Like if you get a year where your Group of 5 highest rated Group of 5 champion is a 2-loss Coastal Carolina, 2-loss Boise State, right? 3-loss. It's going to be tough. But that, to your point, that doesn't mean that the system's broken. I 100% agree with that. No, we're going to miss Bill. He's as good of a dude as there is, and we'll get him on. All right. Yesterday I told you about fastest wide receiver in the game. There was allegations. Now he's going to face charges. What could that mean for this NFL star? That's next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM at AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by STEM.
Humans can do a lot of.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Think it would?
Probably never, I'm guessing. Do you know who I am? Like, when does that ever work for you? Well, I mean, most of us won't try that, right? Do you know who I am? It doesn't work well. Sounds like that's what Tyreek Hill tried with this whole thing. So yesterday I told you about the star receiver for the Miami Dolphins that was facing allegations that he hit a man in the back of the head at a marina. Now that is turned into a there's going to be charges against Tyreek Hill. So this is a weird story. And you'll see a video at some point because evidently there's surveillance video. But the victim wants to file charges. And I'm sure because the victim was told, quote, I can buy you and that boat. I'm number 10 with the Miami Dolphins, end quote. What happened, evidently, is Hill and a bunch of people were at a marina, and they want to get on a boat. It wasn't their boat. And the employee's like, hey, you guys can't do that. And evidently, Tyreek, allegedly, slapped this employee on the back of the head. His group boarded this boat without permission. Boat employees told police that Hill said, quote, I can buy you and the boat. I'm number 10 with the Miami Dolphins, end quote. I mean, isn't that just another way to say, you know who I am?
Yes, it is.
How's that going?
Not
So that
well,
pissed.
But it's just, it's still I have money, I can do what I want. And then when I do
Yes.
something wrong, the money's going to cover it up for me.
Now, the incident report claims that this alleged altercation was captured on surveillance video. They haven't released the footage yet. And the police, have told this alleged victim that they would have to go to the state attorney's office if they want to pursue criminal charges. And the guy's like, yeah, I kind of want to do that. So the Dolphins are like, yeah, we're aware of it. And I can see him, if this goes, I can see him getting suspended a game. Do you see much more?
It depends on how long it takes. We still haven't seen Alvin Kamara get suspended.
Well, that's a great call.
So this stuff just gets pushed off.
Where's the Alvin Kamara thing? That still hasn't gone to trial, right? Yeah. Alvin Kamara, if you recall, at the Pro Bowl a year and 4 months ago now, 5 months ago. So this is 2 Pro Bowls ago. Got in that altercation, and evidently on video, where he dropped the dude outside an elevator in Vegas for looking at his woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Cheetah does not change its spots, man. It is what it is. That's Tyreek.
It's insane where this goes, but I don't know that this plays out well for you. Do you know who I am? I just got a text from a good buddy of mine. He's like, you do that all the time. No, I just don't. I just don't. I don't have to, JJ.
No, you just walk in and people know. You don't have to remind them who you are. And it's just so frustrating, man, just seeing people act that way, have that mentality. I get it. You're a millionaire, you're an athlete, but that does it's so hard for some people to just be a good person.
Yeah, just be a good person.
Because that's a team that is ready to explode this season in Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. That's the 377 Brewery hotline. It is also the Sports Audible text line. I got a bunch of stuff, and when we come back, I'll get you some of your correspondence. You guys have some interesting stuff to say today. We talked about North Dakota State. Is that something that interests you? We've talked about the draft, the Memphis Grizzlies, Boston Celtics, and Washington Wizards pulled off a 3-teamer over not the one that you were thinking about. Oh, but Boston got good. Like gooder. I know gooder's not a word unless it's sunglasses. They got nice. Yeah, have you not seen the gooder sunglasses?
Not
My
sure
kid loves them. My kid loves them. Monica loves them. Monica was telling me if we don't do Oakleys for the players at the New Mexico Bowl this year, we should do gooders. I'm like, okay. But I think we're doing Oakleys. How about that big trade? And what says you? Look at some of you in on United last night. Tickets and concessions and on-field product. I'll read them to you when we get back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
All right, while you were asleep, Celtics made a trade going into today's draft. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and DC. What's up, DC? Haven't heard from you today. You good? Everything all right over there?
It's kind of interesting.
What makes it so interesting today?
Well,
you don't see us?
Yeah, I know. It's so bizarre. But, yeah, running everything while you're remote is very different. So
yeah. Peeling back the curtain a little bit, they've had some in-studio microphone issues. So JJ, it looks like you're in a production studio, and I'm at my dining room table, and yeah, and it's kind of cool how we could do it this way. But no, DC, appreciate you handling all this stuff remotely. All right, Grizzlies acquired Marcus Smart from the Celtics. The Celtics get Kristaps Porzingis. Tyus Jones goes to the Wizards. There were other pieces involved, but that's the big deal as we head into the draft tonight. And JJ, you and I both believe this is a big move for Boston because Kristaps Porzingis going there. This isn't the Kristaps Porzingis who was a bust in New York. And this is a guy who had a really good year last year. Long, athletic, getting better, and you put in with Tatum and assuming they re-sign Jaylen Brown. And I get it, you lose Marcus Smart, and he's been the heart of a lot of things you do, but you got something I think pretty good there.
They needed to switch it up because you're close, but yet you're still so far away after an NBA Finals appearance, a very disappointing Eastern Conference Finals series where you fall down 3-0 to the Heat before storming back and ultimately losing in Game 7. This is a great addition for the Boston Celtics. Kristaps Porzingis is in the best position he's ever been in his career. Offensively, it gives them a look inside that they didn't have. I think defensively, one-on-one, the shot blocking is good. Now, what they do, when it comes to Robert Williams, Al Horford, that rotation, because, Kristaps can play the 4, and you can be really big on the floor. Then with, a Williams, Porzingis, Tatum, Brown lineup out there. They still got really good guard play. Now, they lost Marcus Smart, who is a really good piece. The numbers that Marcus Smart put up in Boston, he's on lists of players that are legendary. Now, he never got his championship, but in terms of, 10 years, never missing a playoff game, he was great. And then so you turn your attention to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, saying, all right, you guys are the franchise players. Now you have to be that on the court and off the court for this team. But I love to see this, man, and teams being aggressive, making championship-type moves. Boston, they had to switch it up. They got to a certain point with this roster. It wasn't good enough to get them a title. Now bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, who's set up for the best year of his career because he's never been on a team this good.
No, this is by far the best team he's been on, and he's getting better. Nobody wants to give guys time to develop, especially guys who are drafted so early in the draft, and you forget about him 4 or 5 years later. Well, this guy was number 4 overall. He's the unicorn. He's different. And because he played in Washington, you didn't see him. You just didn't because there was no reason to watch him this year.
He's only going to be 28 years old next year, too.
That's right. No, he's coming into it. All right, Nuggets also made a trade, and they're going to have the 29th overall pick and then the 32nd overall pick. Richard wants to know JJ's Nugs. Jeff, usually teams sacrifice their future to wear that championship belt. Look at Ramit. You won't be relevant again for a decade. So how did JJ's organization, and DC's, by the way, end up with all these high draft picks? Well, Mr. Buck?
Because in reality, the late first-round draft pick is not a high draft pick. Not really the same as an NFL draft. There's 2 rounds. And so top 16 is what you're focused on. It's that lottery. But it's easier to acquire late first-round picks in the NBA than it is other sports.
They gave up the first-round pick to the Nuggets, their next year first-round pick, which they're expecting to be a late first-round pick. They figure that, they're going to be good again. And so we'll worry about it next year. And they traded their second-round pick this year, which was 40, to Indiana for that. So Indiana gets back next year's first and this year's second from Denver, and they give him number 29, which was Golden State's pick, and then, I think it was Golden State's pick. Maybe it was. No, that was a different deal. Number 29 and then 32. So that's where we are. And then the other big news, Chris Middleton, the Milwaukee Bucks, number 2 after Giannis, is declined his $40 million player option. He's a free agent, and so he's on the market, and there's some uncertainty in what's going to happen with the roster in Milwaukee as we go forward. So that's where we are headed into the draft. You may see some more stuff. I think the talk on Dame Lillard has quieted. The Bam Adebayo stuff is quiet. I think even the Zion stuff is kind of quieted. I heard a report this morning, JJ, that New Orleans basically said, yeah, we were never really trading him. We were listening, but we're not moving Zion Williamson. So I think, I don't know how they think they're getting the 3. They still want to move up to get number 3. I think they're dangling Brandon Ingram, but I don't know that they're gonna make a move.
And if you're New Orleans, the move is see if Zion's that dude. See if this offseason might have opened his eyes to the realization of what he has to do to get right, to be right. Because Zion's on the floor, CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram, that team can win a playoff series. That team can be a factor in the Western Conference, a loaded conference, because those dudes are that good. And when it comes down to it, you can be frustrated, but you still got to have that belief that ceiling will be hit by Zion. The biggest thing here is I do not know what the Portland Trailblazers are going to do.
With 3?
Because Damian Lillard, do you get into the Pascal Siakam trade market? Is he a piece that you can bring in, put along Dame? Like, they're in a position where they have young talent on the roster. They got another top draft pick, but then you got this dude that they're not getting into the playoffs, man. And Dame Lillard hasn't been finishing the season the last couple years. So what is the goal? Like, what are we doing in Portland? Because he's not finished season. You're not even in the play-in tournament. You want to make a big move, but that big move doesn't seem to be coming to fruition at all. What decision are you going to make with your franchise superstar?
Do they have to make it by today?
You can always, after the draft, they're still tradable players, but that's my biggest thing is what direction does Portland do? Because if they take a player at 3, all right, you got a young guy coming in there, but I believe then it's going to be more of the same. Or we'll be sitting here once again, Portland on the outside looking in, wondering what you're going to do with Dame Lillard. And if he just wants to be a Trailblazer for his career, that's okay. That's cool.
And some people like the city in which they're in, and they want to stay there. I mean, like I know we always. It's funny how people tell you what you're supposed to think, and I think he wants to win. I really do. I think he wants to win there. But what if you like where you are? And I don't. Is Dame married? Does he have kids? I honestly don't know the answer to that. He is. He does. Yeah. Okay. So what if he likes where he is and likes his life and doesn't want to uproot his kids and is like, you know what, this community's great and this is where I want to be and I want to win here. And there's not an argument, right? He's a Hall of Fame player. If he ends his career right now and doesn't win a championship, he's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, yes. And I believe that there's nothing wrong with Dame Lillard, but if you're, Portland, then you got to start using some of these assets. And that's why with having a 3rd overall pick, like, this is the time to start kicking the tires on, all right, who's available? All right, Zion, that stuff really wasn't coming to fruition. You start looking at, Pascal Siakam, Jaylen Brown. It looks like the Celtics have made their decision moving forward with Kristaps Porzingis. So who else is out there? Because, all right, if Dame wants to stay, well, then you got to bring in an established dude. Like, you have young guys on that roster. They've done that for the last few years. You can't just add another player and think you're going to be able to win at a high level right now with as good as the Western Conference is.
Yeah. I don't know that I think they do anything today. I think, with number 3, people want it, but I don't know that they're going to get what they want back. And so I think they hold on to that. I want you to get in today on the 377 Brewery hotline, 505-246-0610, or on the Sports Animal text line, which is the same number at 505-246-0610. You've been active there. I'm going to get to that when we return. You've got some really interesting comments on North Dakota State potentially being considered by the Mountain West. I don't know if that's real or not, but in North Dakota, they're talking about it. You're talking about United getting beat last night 3-1 at home. They fall to 4 wins, 7 losses, and 3 draws, 11th place in a 12-team table. You got some thoughts on that. The Rob Manfred stuff on how the Major League Baseball commissioner admitted his mistake in handling the Astros situation. And man said, I made a mistake. Do you feel better about that? Also, JJ, we lost another leader in sports in Albuquerque yesterday. This was sudden. The man who's been leading the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame. I'll let you know about him and what I know about that, but I knew him relatively well. And another hit for our sports community when we come back on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Registration is now open for the Lobo Cancer Challenge. Cancer can affect.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others. U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare...
Theo. He passed away yesterday, and deepest condolences. I texted briefly with his son Anthony this morning and have reached out to Walter, his brother. But good people. JJ, Theo's one of the first people I met when I moved here back 27 years ago. My dad worked for him and Walter way back in the day, and they were so good to my dad. And I mean, you know, if you're good to my dad, then you know we're good, man. You know, treat my people good, and I'm good with you. But they were always really good to me over the years. And I heard of this this morning and talked to a few people this morning. I just it's a loss that people aren't going to know unless you knew Theo. You know you're going to go okay, but we lost a good one, man. You know, it's kind of along the lines of Bill Hancock. You know, a quiet leader that with a ton of integrity that wasn't in it for the look at me reasons. Does that make sense? Right? People who take charge, who lead, but they don't lead because they need all the credit.
Yeah, that does make sense.
And that's kind of what Theo was. And condolences to Anthony and to Walter and to his whole family. From what I understand, this was sudden. And to all of our friends at the New Mexico Sports Hall of Fame, that's going to be a big loss. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's the 377 Brewery Hotline and the Sports Animal text line. Terry sent me a text. He says, after the trades the Wizards made, they should be required to do the following: change their name to the Washington Generals and start a point guard named Red Klotz tanking on steroids. Basically saying they're fodder to the Harlem Globetrotters. They're not very good, and they know they're not very good, right?
Yeah, that's what you do when you trade Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, is you start over. But man, I'm also not a fan of thinking that tanking for them overall pick is going to land you the next best thing. The process for Philadelphia, I got him Joel Embiid. It hasn't gotten him to even the conference finals yet, and that is really hard, because if there's some Washington Wizard fans out there that are just sitting there this morning going,
I know one.
What are we doing? Because I think more times than not in sport, being competitive will lead to better things than tanking will.
Yeah. All right, text line, 505-246-0610. You're in on United. They lost 3-1 last night out of the ball pitch. They are 4 wins, 7 losses, 3 draws, 5-game winless streak. Haven't won in over a month. So they played 14 games. They've won 4. They sit in 11th place of the 12